We're on at Sports Stories, and if you're watching this on replay later on LA 36, just know this: the Dodgers won the World Series last night, and the city is excited about this. Hey, look, a lot of people are dealing with a lot of things across the country, no doubt about it. We have, whether it's the pandemic, whether it's social unrest, whether it's the turned economy, any and all of these things are stressful. And out here in LA, you throw the fires onto that, and there's a lot to deal with. But listen, the Dodgers and the Lakers have done us right. It's been a lot of fun to watch our teams take the championship home. I posted something this morning that's there on the screen. Those are just a lot of memories that I have being to Dodger Stadium and how important Dodgers are and Dodger Stadium is to our community. They really are. They give us that sense of pride and community that makes sports so great. And how awesome was that to see last night? For Kershaw to get his due, for Dave Roberts to pull it through. Remember, Dave Roberts' niece was on our show, so we're going to make a long pitch at Dave Roberts to come on. Hey, how great, right? That's it. Our Dodgers won. Let's see. Lakers, Dodgers. Oh, there's another Los Angeles institution like the Dodgers we're going to talk about today. That is Loyola High School, the Mighty Cubs. That's right. We'll talk a little bit about them. Wearing a championship ring. I wasn't on the team. My kid was, but my cousin coached it. There you go. And we got more. And we have the Kleins. I like to call them a Kleinasty with their athletic legacy, right? Darren actually came up with that, not me. All right, let's start the show. I'm a Venice, California-born, Los Angeles-based sports fan. One that has played, coached, announced, and promoted sports my whole life. My love affair with sports started in my own backyard and has led me to this podcast. Thanks to the support of the Amateur Athletic Union in East Bay, I'm excited to bring you Sports Stories with Denny Lennon.
Sports Stories with Denny Lennon brings subscribers interesting, unique, and uplifting stories. You can find us at sportstoriesdl.com. We're excited to be with you here on LA 36. We also drop audio and video podcasts every Thursday. Wednesday and Friday, we go live at 5 on youtube.com/SSDL. Guests who have shared their stories on the show with Denny include football's best like Trevor Lawrence and Gary Gilliam, and Super Bowl champions Brendan Ironbadejo and Peter Boulware. Kings of the Beach, Karch Karai and Sinjin Smith. Kentucky Derby winner Doug O'Neill. Hall of Famers Jimmy Lennon Jr. and Rudy Tomjanovich. World champions Boom Boom Mancini and Tim Leary. AAU James E. Sullivan Award winners Catherine Plummer, Sabrina Ionescu, and Spencer Lee. Not to mention the head honcho himself, AAU President Dr. Roger Gowdy. Best-selling authors Wesley King, Jeff Pearlman, Eric Nussbaum, and Wayne Coffey. And Sports Stories favorite Norm Bass, the first Black American to play pro football and baseball post-World War II. But wait, did you think we could forget Lakers studio host and the first ever East Bay 74-28 shootout champion, Chris Geeter McGee? Bucket! And how about the voice of SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, Sam Lagana? Do you have an interesting, unique, or uplifting story to tell? Hustle on over to sportstoriesdl.com.
Coming to you live from Los Angeles. We're in the darn it. That's where we talk about being the top video podcast in the Sentinel Adobe corridor. It's brilliant. And how we share a wall with the Korean United Methodist Church, and we could see St. Jerome's from our back porch. It's a great bit. But, one of these days we'll load it all the way into the show. That would be good. Hey, let's get this show going. All right. Is my family here? Let's hope so. I hope so. I know my brother Bobby's here. He went to St. Monica. That's where Bob Klein went to school and starred as a outstanding all-around athlete. And from Bob Klein and his wife Joanne comes a tremendous group of athletes. And Dillon Klein will be on the show with us as well as his father Jimmy, who is a great standout. And then, of course, the legendary coach Mike Boehle. They're all coming up soon. Let's say it. My family. I need my St. Mark people here. How about my St. Bernard people? That would be helpful too, right? Got to stand up to Loyola just a little bit. Only lost 10-0 my junior year in high school football. And that was a victory for us because they were solid. VBC, AAU people, let's hope so. Okay, top 5 states outside of California supporting the show. We always do this to show you what kind of national support we got. Coming in at 5 outside of California, Northern California. Okay, I've been going over this we go over this with the staff about what is and what's not a state. Northern California, not yet their own state. All right. Venezuela, Indonesia, Canada, and Tijuana also not states. And they've all appeared on this list. Okay. Texas, Florida, North Carolina. That's nice. And OH, always coming strong. Ohio. Hey, let's get this going. What do you think, Marley? Yeah. This week, what do we got this week? Well, we know what we got today. I already prepped that. Hey, Tuesday, we dropped a Never Seen LA. We go around and we follow the great Jonas Never and his murals that are out throughout the city. We visited this one real close to the Convention Center and Staples Center. Thursday, it's Sam Lagana Part 2. That's right. He's also a Pacific Palisades guy like the Klein family. Sam really looked up to that family as he's growing up. And look at all the people he's got to meet. The voice of the Rams, Vice Chancellor Pepperdine. He's the guy. Hey, Andre McCarter coming up on Friday. Andre was on the 1975 UCLA basketball team, the last of Coach Wooden's championship teams. You know, he went to Overbrook High School in Philadelphia. Legend. Andre will be on the show Friday, and so will Brandon from Brandon Sports Talk. So we like him. We'll show a clip from his show at the end of this. He'll come on the backside of Andre. I'm looking forward to that. Love talking UCLA basketball. Okay. How about this? We got Twitter. Always putting out the polls, doing what I can for the people. I put out the polls. You do your part and vote. Look, one of these is hot right now. I mean, look at this. Sam Lagana is running away. These are all the PA voices of the various sports franchises around Los Angeles. Lawrence Tanner of the Lakers is in second right now, but Sam Lagana comes strong. Could be because he's the only one working at this time. All right. Hey, oh, you know what? Actually, Sam's probably because he was just appeared on this show. So that makes sense. Hey, look at this poll. Now, I'm proud of this one. What made-for-TV football movie was more emotional? The 1971 Brian song or the 1977 Something for Joey? John Capoletti appeared in my other poll where he lost number 22 to Clayton Kershaw. He's back. Of course, he was a Heisman winner who had Something for Joey. Yep. Lots of information there. Go check that out and vote. We got a couple of corrections. I tagged John Capoletti on the post. Apparently it wasn't the right John Capoletti. And he said, look, I'm John Capoletti, but not the Heisman Trophy winner. But look at this. He doesn't know me. And he goes on this to tell the story about being on an Amtrak from Boston to Providence. And the conductor told me that she cried her eyes. Look at that. Look at that. That must be an emotional movie. I bet that's going to move the poll a little bit. Also, a correction. Lights, the voice of the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium, is not born in Boston, Massachusetts, but rather in Brattleboro, Vermont. Okay. Want to get that straight because I could swing the vote as well. Okay. Fun times. You need to go there. How about that? Twitter mistakes. We covered it. Oh, hey, masks are taking over. Look at this. Our Sports Stories mask. That's Sam Lagana, voice of SoFi Stadium and the NFL Rams. He's wearing his mask. That's Mark Verge, the mogul. That's right. The mentor of so many and his boy. And they're wearing Sports Stories masks. All right. Take yourself a picture with our Sports Stories mask. If we gave it to you, send it in. We'll throw you on the show. And if you didn't have one yet, I think you can get them off our website.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wow. I think the mask is going to be around for a bit. So you might need a few. Okay. We're feeling pretty good about tonight's show. We're really excited. I mentioned about Loyola High School. You know, Loyola High School founded roughly 1865, although at the time it was a combined kind of like law school, college, and high school. But it's the longest run continual educational institute in Los Angeles or Southern California. And it holds that place. I think it was around 1930 or so that they broke off the law in the college and they settled in on that site on Venice Boulevard for just an all-boys high school. But they're about so much more than just athletics and academics. They're about community. They're about social service. They're about moving young men forward. And they've been doing it for a long time. I'm so proud. My wife and I are so proud that our boy, Vaughn, got to go through Loyola High School, as are all the parents of their kids that get to go, their boys that get to go and become out the other side men that care about their community and men that are involved in social service. And it's an awesome thing. So shout out to Loyola. Now, I got a cousin who's been the volleyball coach there for longer than a lot of you have been alive, 20-something years. And he's done some damage. So let's see what his walk-up's all about. Montage. Let's do it.
27th Avenue.
He's a 6-time CIF Southern Section champion, 4-time state, 1, maybe 2 national titles. I got to talk to him about that one. I'm wearing one of the rings. Why didn't I get the other one? I don't know. 7-time coach of the year from one, only 3-time coach of the year from the LA Times. Rude, Eric. All right, let's bring him on. He's Mike Boehle. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Denny.
Yeah.
That walk-up was really cool, and I love that you got in that I didn't do that at the studios, that shot. You know,
well, I asked Marley, I said, Marley, don't play the other thing, because Marley, like,
oh, sorry.
Like I said, don't play it. What's the instructions? And she thought, play it. Anyways, let's just let that live there. But we did show you making that other one. That's good.
Left. Yeah, you don't stop. You got to go and finish.
Right, you do.
But very cool. You got to finish.
How would you have followed up that long court shot inside the gym at Loyola? That'd have been a tough finish. You don't know where that ball could have came off, but you nailed it.
No, that's been something I've been doing ever since I started coaching there, and it's we do it at the end of practice, and I've been there for 2 to 3 minutes, and I've been there for 45 minutes. So this shoulder has a lot of wear and tear on it.
Do they have to run while you do this, or
no? They started off by with a line down the center of the court, clapping every just a real they got faster and louder.
That's great.
And after about 10 minutes, they're like, Coach, we're really tired. So they'd go. Now they hang out behind the basket and get the rebounds and shag them. So it's a tradition I started a while ago. I love getting the hoops, and so I just kind of incorporate that into our playoff run.
I love it.
I've gone from making it on the first time to taking, like I said, 45 minutes, which was gnarly.
Oh, that's brilliant. Now, how about our Dodgers, Mike?
So fired up. I mean, watching them, compete, 3 out of the last 4 years, and seeing them come up short against Astros teams, with the Boston Red Sox and of course those Houston Astros, was just so fun. I was really excited and they mentioned it over and over, but for the guys that have been on the team during those times, the Seagers and the Justin Turners and the Jansons, and I was hoping, just for sentimental value, I had a conversation with our AD, Chris O'Donnell, and he brought this up, but Kershaw getting the MVP, just because of what he's gone through and what's been on his shoulders. And I know that feeling, the monkey on the back. And but I think to have that, I think that's put him in a complete room by himself with what he's accomplished. But
yeah, it is. It was so awesome to see. And I know we share like so much of Los Angeles. We share with our kids, our sports franchises, and of course the Dodgers. And I immediately got a call from my boy Vaughn, and he was emotional and just going, "Oh my God, they won!" Like they won. And I thought to myself, shoot, he was born in '92. Like he's never seen the Dodgers win the World Series. We've always been close. Like it's not like you and I who are around for the 81, 88, championships, and we have those behind us. But and I think your boys had took part in last night's game or something like that.
Dude, I get a FaceTime call, and I thought, okay, I'm getting a FaceTime call. This is I don't know if this is good or not, but my 2 boys, Parker and Hayden, were actually at the game.
Oh my goodness!
So what they got to witness was history. Based on what's going on in the world today, the fact that we even had sports go on, and the fact that they went out to Texas to watch our Dodgers take on the Tampa Bay Rays and see that, and to be together, they called it. It was really cool. And, my whole family are Dodger fans. My wife's mom, who is 93 years old, mind you, you might have seen it, but she was featured by the Dodgers on the Honda. The Honda actually took care of her, and she got to say, let's get started, or what's it? It's time for Dodger baseball. And so for her to see the Dodgers win
that's cool.
Her time was just so cool. So
that's great.
Really happy. But yeah, it was really neat. It was just I'm so excited. I mean, Lakers and Dodgers. What's the trifecta? Rams. Let's go.
Let's go Rams. Let's go. Ready. What? They got a good enough defense. I got to get something straight. Speaking of championships, I saw somewhere. I know the 2009 team got the national title. ESPN Rise national championship team. Your boys volleyball team. Is that right? 2009.
2009. Yep.
Okay. I also saw 2017 was named by Max Preps the national champions.
And Volleyball Mag.
Yes. So then I've been saying, I've only been quoting that one national championship. You got 2.
2 national championships. Yes.
That's
all right. There's no hate here, Denny. You know that.
That's twice as many. That's as many as you have Venice Backyard Championship titles.
That's as many as two. That's correct. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's you got a foot in the Hall of Fame.
I hope so. God, I hope I'm looked at. I mean, it is what it is, but I know that it's tough to get into that, and I'm just fortunate that I was able to play.
The VBC stuff will put you over the top.
Okay.
I think it will. I will campaign for you. Mike, before we bring on and before we talk about our guest of honor, I wanted you to talk a little bit about what Loyola does for young men. I said what I could at the beginning as a parent that watched my boy go through there. But you have your own story too of being associated with the school for so long. Can you talk a little bit about that for people who may not, be close to Loyola and some of our national audience?
Well, sure. I mean, you hit it on the head, Denny, with the community and outreach. I mean, one of our themes is, men for others. And, that's huge. I think we've got one of the top, in my opinion, community service projects across the Southland, if not in the country. We do a real good job of getting these young men out into different parts of Los Angeles and, letting them see what it's like to maybe struggle a little bit, and give back. And so we really do a good job of that. And then secondly, just because you can go on and on about Loyola and what they've done, but, you come in as a boy and you leave as a young man. And I think that's a huge thing that Loyola does. And, thanks to the Jesuits and what they've established, throughout the years and those people that are working at Loyola. I mean, considering what's been going on, our enrollment's up, which is a huge tribute to what we do. We're doing a great job online, which has been very, very frustrating, but it's working and people trust us. So, I think we're just doing what we do. And, from the athletic side, from the social side, from the academic side, it all ties in. And, these young boys come in and leave as young. And, they're Cubs for life. And you'll see that quite a bit. And there's so many times I was in the airport one time and I was running through the terminal because I was a little late. And I must have had a Cub hat on or something. And someone said, "Go Cubs." And I just turned back and someone was in that mayhem. And, but they're everywhere. And we just there's a picture. One of the news outlets here locally put out a picture, and it was a guy wearing a Loyola Cubs sweatshirt in Texas, supporting the Dodgers. So we didn't know who it was, but it was like, there he was. There's a Loyola guy. So we're everywhere. We do a great job of that. The networking's awesome. And we just do a really good job of getting these kids to understand what it's like to give back, and credit our institution for that.
Being a St. Bernard guy whose kid went to Loyola on part of two Southern Section champion and national championship team, I was really moved when you honored me with this ring, because often I had to come out of the stands to give you advice about what rotation or what moves to make in a game, and I felt like it got you over the top.
Many a times that you did that. Yeah, no, I definitely credit you for that. That's why you're wearing what you're wearing. I mean, you certainly had something, especially our quarterfinal match at Newport, which is a match that I'll never ever forget. I mean, I was done. I had already closed my book. We're sitting there just trying to wait it out. Didn't know what I was going to talk to the guy in the locker room.
Tell Steve everything. Yep. I said, just tell Steve.
Down 14-10. Yeah, you're down 14-10. You're not coming back in a game like that with a rally scoring. No way. You're 1 point. I mean, it's just side out and you're done. And to score 6 straight points, my God. Unbelievable. What a great birthday present that was.
Yeah, it was. And, I pulled the boys together. I said, hey, coach is coach, but we could do this, and we got that done. Yep.
You did it before?
That was so fun. That was so fun. I could not believe that one came off. That was so great. Talk a little bit about our guest of honor tonight, Dillon. I think he stands up to many of the great players you've had come through your program.
Yeah, it's not very often that, we get a kid like Dillon that comes into Loyola High School as a freshman and is able to participate on the varsity team, any varsity team for that matter. And, I've known the Kleins for a long time. Jimmy is an alum, his brother Patrick is an alum, but, they got to be real close with my sister and brother-in-law, Kevin and Chrissy. And so I'd see Dillon at some of the functions as a youngster, and you can just see he had, he had the Klein the Klein athleticism. I mean, you can just see that you were just waiting. And so I would tease Jimmy, like, he's coming to Loyola, right? Like, there's no doubt he's coming to Loyola. And at the time, he was doing everything. He was playing basketball, he was playing football, volleyball. Not so much into volleyball, but more and you could just see he was so coordinated and so athletic. But one of the things that draws me to Dillon is that he's just a great kid. He did an interview with LA Times about a month ago, and he talked about how he wants to support his teammates, and he doesn't think that getting on them is a really smart way of doing it. And I just found that interesting because at an early age, 14, 15, 16 years old, there are times where you get a little frustrated and you yell at your teammates, but he's pretty mature for his age. He's an unbelievable athlete that could have probably done what his dad did. And his grandfather, but play 3 sports if you were able to do that. It's just so tough nowadays. We talked about the football thing, and I think he was a little nervous about getting injured. Jimmy will probably touch on that a little bit, just the injuries that he had. But Dillon can go down as one of the best outside hitters. Unfortunately, we haven't had a season in 2 years,
right.
or a year and a half, and possibly 2 years. So unfortunately for him, he hasn't had that chance to shine, but there's a ceiling that's just growing and growing and growing that he's going to reach. And he's going to USC to play volleyball. He was recruited by a lot of different schools, narrowed it down to 2 and chose USC. And I'm just so proud of him. And, he works hard. He's constantly trying to do things to better himself and better his teammates. So, those kids don't come around much very often. And, I credit Brooke and Jimmy and their whole entire family for doing what they've done to get into this level. Really,
we got a lot to say about the family. It's really interesting diving in and then going, whoa, and another that are all doing something so significant in athletics, and of course the academic side. It's just a unbelievable family. I want to bring them both on. Do you want to stick around, Mike, and say hello?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. All right. I think we got a walk-up montage. We're going to bring in Jimmy and Dillon. That is an awful lot of athletic ability. A Kleinasty of Pacific Palisades. Let's bring in Jimmy Klein and Dillon Klein. Hey, guys, how's it going?
Unmuting.
Oh, there you go. Now we got you.
What's up? Hey, good.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So you might know that guy up there, Mike Boehle.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So Dillon, he mentioned, how you want to stay positive with the team, so on and so forth. But I grew up with Mike Boehle. I remember how he used to be. I would imagine he gets a little hot under the collar with the team every now and again, huh?
Yeah, every now and again, yeah. I mean, not as much as you think, but yeah, I mean.
For good reason, Dillon, right? It's for good reason.
Of course, yeah.
And Denny, to be fair, I got some notes from some college buddies that saw the article in the LA Times.
Yeah.
And on that comment, they said, well, he clearly did not get that from you.
Yes.
So I think his mother gets credit for that.
They must. Dillon, tell me a little bit about, I read that article that Eric Sonheimer does, who comes on the show often. He spoke of you. And one of the things I found interesting in there, he said, you said something to the effect of like, yeah, there's a lot of good athletes in the family. And I said, game night at my grandparents, and it got a little intense. And I was wondering what game could have got so intense over there that got everybody going.
Well, it's this game called Categories, and you got to think of a letter, or there's like a letter, and you got to think of a certain category. Let's say restaurant, and you get the letter C. You got to think of a restaurant that begins with the letter C, and like an animal, and an article of clothing, and a body part.
Okay.
And some of them, they're a little controversial, where it's like, if, a rope is a article of clothing, or like a purse. And the arguments kind of get a little bit heated at times, but it's fun in the end, and it's just fun because everyone's so competitive about it.
I love it. We do the same thing over here. It's backgammon's our game, and we get after it. We get after it a little bit. So that's a lot of fun. Jimmy, I know growing up, you played multiple sports. Dillon did the same, but Jimmy, you stuck with it through high school and then into college, playing two big D1 sports. How did you find the time to manage all that then?
It just was busy. I just woke up in the morning and went down to Loyola. Depending on the time of year, we had weightlifting in the morning. It's called Samurai at the time. And in the fall, you played football. And the second you got done with football, you go right into basketball. And the second you got done with that, you're right into volleyball. And then summer was kind of all three. I think the major difference today is that the club sports were really not nearly what they are today. I mean, we used to put teams together ourselves and find our own coach. We'd practice for like 3 weeks or a month and then go to Junior Olympics, where Dillon's playing with Mike and MB Surf, and it's a more or less a year-round deal. So as you mentioned earlier in the show, there's just not the same amount of time available to play multiple sports today. And I think, frankly, for Dillon, I think it plays to his strength, because I think he is passionate about volleyball, loves volleyball, and has lots of time to watch film and play. And, he does a lot on his own to kind of elevate his game.
I got a question for you, Jimmy. When you went to Stanford, was Dennis Green your position coach, or was he the head coach? Denny Green.
So he was the head coach.
Wow. Legend.
My position coach was Willie Shaw, whose son is David Shaw, the current coach.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Denny went on to the Vikings. Yep. And then Bill Walsh came in.
Okay. Wow. That's quite. So you went there at a very interesting time, especially Denny Green. He's like a Hall of Famer coach.
He was great. I mean, he picked up a program that was on its back, and he played a lot of us as freshmen. And by the time he left, we lost to Georgia Tech in the Aloha Bowl. But the next year, my senior year, there were a bunch of guys that had been playing for 4 years. So it was very much a very mature team. And Bill Walsh came in, and we beat Penn State in the Blockbuster Bowl in '93 and finished number 10 in the country, which was a big deal for Stanford.
Heck yeah, that was. Dillon, I would imagine you're excited. I know you still got a couple of years to finish out at Loyola, but you've made your commitment towards USC. How did that come to be? And, who else did you consider in the process?
I was considering mostly UCSB and USC. Those are the big two I was thinking of. And I was probably going to hopefully wait to get some official visits in. Mm-hmm. But I didn't see that really happening in the near future. And, I mean, there's no official visits now. So I was just sitting in my room, and I was like, I don't know. I think I know where I want to go to college. And I took my parents to dinner, or they took me to dinner. I think I want to go to school at USC. And then later that night, I called the coach and was like, Coach, I would love to go to school at USC and play volleyball for you. And that's kind of how it came to be. And yeah.
I would imagine your grandpa is kind of excited about that, because he, of course, Bob Klein, a standout athlete at USC, part of that '67 national championship team. So did he give you the nod? Did he go, okay, welcome to our Trojan fan?
I think that he was kind of hoping I was going there, but didn't really want to voice his opinion. But I think he was super excited. Yeah.
I'll bet. Hey, Mike Boehle, I was wondering, how involved I got when Vaughn was playing on your team. Is Jimmy the same way? Does he get in the huddle and give your boys some instruction during the games?
Yeah, he calls me before each match and goes over the game plan and wants to just find out, make sure what rotation Dillon's starting in. And so right. Not as bad as you, but he's definitely involved. Absolutely not. I think what's very cool about the Kleins, and, what I wanted to say too, which is really interesting, is, the families go way back with Bob, obviously, and our family, Denny, at St. Monica's. Like I remember as a little boy, hearing the name Bob Klein, because he was friends with my uncle, Tom Lennon, at St. Monica's. And so it's just so weird how you just come full circle. And now we've got, his family coming in with our family again. We're still together after 50 years, 55 years. But it's it's pretty cool. It's very, very cool. But I forget, what was the original question that you had?
I was just making sure that, that you're getting some assistance from the parents, because I know that goes over well with a lot of teams. When the parents get more involved in the strategy.
Yes, I know what I was going to say. In all honesty, Jimmy has been probably one of the biggest supporters on the outside, where, he's played at a pretty high level. So have we had conversations? Absolutely. Appropriately? Absolutely. Those are the parents that I dream about, the guys that have played the game, know it, but they sit back and enjoy their son playing the game that they got to play. And so, there's nothing to say there, except for I'm just fortunate to have the ability to be able to coach him and have Jimmy as one of my friends and one of my parents. It's just, it's a blessing. It's, I'm sure Jimmy would say the same thing about his son. It's cool. We've been very lucky to have kids play at the next level, and you don't know what happens when those kids come out and they're one all the way through, and you just kind of, what are they going to be? What are they going to do? And
right.
Jimmy, you're just starting out, but I had 3 boys and a daughter got to play at the next level, and it's pretty amazing, because I know what it was like playing at a professional level. Jimmy knows what it's like, and to see your son and hopefully his daughter, and it's not like we're pushing them to do it; they just fall into it because it's there. So. I'm proud of them. I love having them part of the group. Jimmy gets Loyola volleyball. I have to give him a little props, because he's a very humble person. And, but he's probably one of the best ever, one of the top 5 athletes to ever come out of Loyola High School in history. Like, that's pretty incredible to say. I never admit that, but I've heard numerous times.
Checks in the mail, Mike.
I gotta dig in on that a little, Mike Boehle. And before we let you go, one thing I read an LA Times article on Dillon, and then one from back in the day on Jimmy. So they're separated by about 30 years or so. And Dillon was reputed to have a 36-inch vertical, but Jimmy, they said, had a 37-inch vertical. And I wanted you to, I don't know. I mean, I know all of your boys jumped a whole lot higher than you ever did. And my boy jumped higher than I did. And I don't know.
I don't know. I got a chance to watch Jimmy in high school and play basketball. And both him and his brother, Pat, could fly. And I've talked to Jimmy, outside of volleyball about, the sports that he played. And if he could do it all over again, would he have chosen football? Would he have chosen volleyball? Would he have played basketball? I mean, he played 3 sports at a really high level in high school, and then picked 2 of them and played them at Stanford, which is unheard of. But, due to injury, he just didn't have that luck. And I think that's a story that he can tell with Dillon on the line here, that, I think that was part of it too. Like, Dillon, here's what happened to me after Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was sophomore year or freshman year, your first knee went out, and then sophomore year, your second knee. Is that what it was, possibly?
It was, I had played every down on defense in football without any problems, and I went to the volleyball team. I broken into the starting lineup about a month into the season, and I got a low, tight set, which I'll never forget Canyon Seaman from setting me. And I kind of broad jumped, and thank God my last attempt was a kill. But I blew out my ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus. And so that was kind of the beginning of the end, because I rehabbed for 18 months, gave up volleyball because I was on a football ride, and came back and on the final play of fall practice, blew out my other knee. Both of them without anyone ever touching me. So, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe, 3 sports in high school and 2 in college turned out to be too much for, me physically, and things just kind of wore down. Not really sure.
And that's my question to you, like, as a dad who experienced that. I think we've had this conversation, but did you talk to Dillon about that? Like, hey, things are different. People are specializing, as we mentioned earlier in the show. People are specializing in their sports. Did you tell him about your, hey, look, I did 3. It might have taken some wear and tear on me. Be careful.
Yeah, well, I'm hypersensitive to injury simply because of my background. So I'm on both of my kids to do everything they can to train and injury prevention. And I think things have come a long way from when we were in high school. I mean, we used to lift heavy weights and do all these different things that I don't think were had anything to do with injury prevention. And I think there's a lot of improvement that's been made in sports medicine. And so we're big supporters of anything and everything he can do to stay healthy. And And so I would not wish an ACL tear on anybody. So that's part of the reason I think one sport for him is probably the best, because he loves it and he can spend all his time doing it. And why dilute what you love if he's got the opportunity to play year round and at the next level?
You talk to our football coach and our basketball coach, they would beg to differ on that one. But we'll keep it with volleyball, because I'm perfectly happy with him doing the volleyball, man. I promise. I'm totally happy.
Hey, MB, appreciate you coming on per usual.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it.
We added to your resume.
Yeah, exactly. But you've got two special guests here and two pretty good people. So I look forward to watching the rest of it and hearing what they have to say. But I'm proud of Dillon. I can't wait to see what his future has. And Jimmy as well, and their entire Klein family. They're just a great group of people. All of
Love it, MB.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on.
Yeah.
Best, to you, and I really hope we can pull off this volleyball season for this year. And it's going to be something else. Dillon, we talked a little bit about different sports and the like, but I understand like you're kind of big into body surfing or something along these lines. Like you got a group at Loyola that maybe heads down to the beach, gets going early in the morning.
Yeah, so I'm the owner of the Body Surf Club at Loyola.
Nice.
And it's not really a club, to be honest with you. It's
Okay.
It's more body surfing and
Sure.
Yeah, and getting T-shirts that say Body Surf Club on it. And it's fun to do. We take a photo at the end of the year that says Body Surf Club. It's pretty fun. And yeah, we get to the beach a little bit, only when the waves are good. But so I like to recruit the younger kids and make them think that it's really serious, a really serious club. They show up in speedos and goggles and.
No, but it is. It's so important to like understand. Where we're so fortunate to grow up here. A lot of these things we take for granted. And I mean, I still go down. That's what I try to do to exercise. Is I'll go down and swim in the ocean, and it's just beautiful to be out there. And to be out in the ocean and just to enjoy that. We're just, fortunate to have it. And it's pretty cool that you're bringing up some other young guys and, making sure that they get in the water and understand like it's very, we're fortunate to live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, exactly.
Dillon, what other sports? Now, I know you played a few other sports. You're a Corpus Christi kid, like your pops, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was at St. Mark for a long time, which made me think a little bit, Jimmy, that I might have even have had some teams that played against you when you're on the other team that I was, damn it, guard that number 5 kid. I'm sure I yelled at you back in the day. Now, Jimmy, weren't the Corpus Christi, weren't they the Rebels back when you went to school there?
Yes.
That was a cool nickname.
Yeah, I don't know if that would fly so well today, but not sure where. My parents was a rebel. Yeah, my parents met in first grade at Corpus.
Oh, wow.
1954.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't know what the mascot was then, but they started in first grade. I think they technically started dating in 8th, but they've known each other their entire lives.
Isn't that something? That's unbelievable. Dillon, what did you like playing at Corpus Christi? I'm sure you played every sport. Any one of them in particular you really liked?
Flag football for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of flag football. It's really fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Football or flag football, basketball and volleyball there. And I liked volleyball and flag football the most for sure. Basketball wasn't really my thing. I don't know, really had to dribble. But
I didn't either.
The Catholic Youth Organization in Los Angeles, a lot of people don't understand it because some people, they just know it as a weekend thing because they go to public school and then they play what's called CYO there. But CYO LA, these are all Catholic schools and there's close to 200 of them. And they play all over our city. And some of the level of play is really high and really fun. And in particular, like flag football, they have all those quirky rules that make it fun. You can throw the ball across the line of scrimmage, return it, throw another forward pass, just kind of fun stuff like that, everybody being eligible. And it makes it for a game more of like speed and in deceptive moves and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, love that. Jimmy, now, when you were going through Loyola, do you see the same thing that you came out of the backside of Loyola with, that education and that commitment to community and service and stuff that your son's receiving at this point?
I do. It's, I think, a wonderful place to send a young guy to turn him into a man. I think there's the brotherhood and camaraderie are still there as strong as it was when I was there. I think Mike has taken the volleyball program. We won a couple CIF titles when I was there. But I think Mike's got the winningest program that Loyola has. And, we've fallen off a little bit on the football side. We were very, very good when I was there. But I think Mike's done a phenomenal job. And he alluded earlier that Dillon played as a freshman. And part of what I think Mike does a great job of is culture on the team, because Dillon was a freshman and, he was welcomed by the seniors and the juniors, and now he's the junior, and they might have a kid that's going to look to, we have a season, possibly come in and play, young as a freshman. So it's just a testament to Mike on the way he manages the team and the culture specifically on the volleyball team.
Speaking about volleyball, Dillon, I understand. So your aunt, Kristen, Jimmy's sister, was an outstanding volleyball player. NCAA player of the year, I think in 91, played on the 96 Olympic team, but at her house, I guess she's got a volleyball court, out back or something. And
grass volleyball court.
And then, so you have two cousins that are on that Stanford team now, that I saw, by the way, win those 3 titles, because I go to the NCAA Women's Final Four every year. And so I got to see those teams play, which is great. But you were saying you were picking up some things from them on that court when they were working out, because, there's a difference between men's and women's volleyball and what, the ball control and that kind of thing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. The women's volleyball and men's volleyball are pretty different sports. I mean, women's volleyball is more focused on ball control, more as like men's focused on hitting the ball and like getting kills off at basically everything and terminating. But when I went over to the Keefe's house, I've never experienced a harder float serve than my cousin Caitlin, and it was just crazy because I'd only really been used to receiving hard like jump serves and passing that, but her float serve is real gnarly, and it really helped me become a better passer and get my ball control up so I can do better and bring it to boys volleyball, which is fun. And it's just really fun playing with your cousins.
I love it. Catherine Plummer is quite the player. We've had her on the show a couple of times because I know her since she was little, coming up through our AAU beach volleyball stuff. And so I know you played a little bit of beach volleyball. And how'd you enjoy that? And do you see yourself ever, maybe after you're done with all of your indoor volley, going back to beach?
Maybe. I really only play beach volleyball at like the beach club or Bel Air and with my friends and like on like a short net. But beach is really fun, and I enjoy playing it, but I don't know if I can ever really make a career out of beach volleyball.
Yeah, well, not many people can, and that's it's such a great sport. But it's great that it's a collegiate sport and it's the most popular Olympic sport. For some reason, it's always had a hard time catching on and providing enough people, to stand up to, or at least come close to something like tennis or golf. But you never know where that goes. It's also a fun sport, as Jimmy will probably tell you, to have for the rest of your life, to use socially, right?
Absolutely.
And I bet you played a little when you were younger.
Played a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things that the COVID's allowed Dillon to do is he's at home, but I think he's spending more time outside now than he would be if he were going to classes at Loyola, because he's used the afternoons. He's picked up surfing and he's picked up golf. Okay. I'd probably venture to say his second favorite sport right now behind volleyball is golf. So he's and those are 2 great sports you can do for the rest of your life as well.
Yep. Dillon, I did the same when I was, I think like 7th, 8th grade. My dad was going to throw out some old clubs, and I kind of was like, I like golf. Maybe and I just went and figured it out at a course that's not there anymore in Santa Monica. I think it was called Bay Shores or Pacific Shores or something. There's a big development there now. And I just kind of figured it out, and I love it so much to this day. What do you like in particular about golf?
It's just kind of fun. I was pretty bad at it to be honest in the beginning, and I'm just improving. A lot of fun at anything. I mean, getting better at something is always really satisfying. And my friends play it. My grandpa plays it. I get to go out with my grandpa a lot. My cousins play it, and it's just really fun going out there and just hitting the ball and hoping.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you do. You go, wait, oh, I hit that one good. No, it's great being out on a big course like that, just the smell of the grass and being outdoors and stuff. Any and all of that is so much fun. And I love how you can play that with multi-generations. I mean, that's a really unique situation. You get to spend some time with your grandfather. Jimmy, can you tell me a little bit about growing up? And were you aware that your dad was like a professional football player and that was unique?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely knew he was a pro football player because we'd go. I remember the Chargers much better than the Rams because those were his final 3 years. And my sister and I would go down to San Diego and we'd summer. They'd rent a house in La Jolla, my parents, so my dad could go to training camp all summer, which was a wonderful memory. I remember during meetings, my sister and I would be in the locker room playing cards with the kicker, Ralph Benershka, because he didn't have to go to meetings. And I also remember the soda machines. It was all you could drink soda, and we weren't allowed to have soda growing up. So, I mean, literally distinctive memory. We got to drink as much soda as we could handle. So, my dad was in the parade, the 4th of July parade, which is an institution, the Palisades. So I knew kind of what he was and who he was, but it just was, natural. It didn't seem to be like he was, just a normal guy and, good dad.
Yeah. So, I mean, I got a couple years on you, so I certainly remember him as a Ram. And as far as I was concerned, because I used to like to go out and catch the ball. So as far as I was concerned, he was just holding my spot till I got there. Like that's that's how I knew who Bob Klein was. And then I was like, what? Some of my, my brother-in-law went to school with him and some of my cousins knew him. I was like, what the heck, And then just, following your family, since then. In fact, I think, so is Kristen's older than you, right?
She's 13 months older. Yep.
Okay. So when I was, Dillon, we did something that was really cool. Mike Boehle, myself, and my best friend Ray, right? We started this thing called the Venice Backyard Championships, and it was just a volleyball tournament in my backyard. And pretty soon it grew to 5 backyards, 3 front yards, all on one street in Venice, right? And you go from backyard to backyard on a blind draw, super fun. And everybody had this great time about it. So we got this big reputation, got in Volleyball Mag and on Prime Network and stuff. And Kristen shows up one time with the producer of like pro beach volleyball stuff that knew me because I was an announcer on women's. So he goes, hey, can we use your backyard? For whatever reason, we were suddenly the backyard. And she endorsed some kind of volleyball net. And when she came, I was like, sure, I don't care. And then she came and she said, Kristen, and then somebody goes, that's Bob Klein's daughter. And I was like, what the heck? And that's when I started to dive in and found out that all of you, had this thing. So Marley, could you put up that? I wanted you guys to make sure that we are somewhat accurate on this. Is this accurate for the most part, all of this?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I mean, Kai looks a little bit young, but
Danny, I think you're referencing when she was captain of a four-woman beach team, and she was it was Team Forster.
Oh, okay.
I think Forster made volleyball equipment.
Okay, that makes sense.
That would have been what she would have been doing after the Olympics.
And that was so cool. I remember it was very busy and they had to put up lights and do all this stuff. And she walked out of my parents' backyard, out of their kitchen and into the backyard and stuff. And then also I was like, I wanted to go, so Bob Klein's your dad, but we didn't get a chance to talk. Right. We didn't get a chance to. So, we're talking, Jimmy, about having to make choices between, sports and stuff. And I was reading that article, and you had to make one really hard decision when you were, I guess, you just graduated Loyola, and you couldn't play in the Shrine Game or something because you had to go to volleyball U.S. Olympic. Was it festival or something?
Yeah, it was a sports festival in Norman, Oklahoma.
And that's tough, man. The Shrine has such a unique place in football history.
Yeah, it was there was only a handful of us that were invited to the sports festival in Oklahoma. It was meaning they were still in high school. It hadn't been to college. And to me, that kind of pseudo Olympic structure was really intriguing and interesting. And, my sister was there playing for another team. And so the whole family went out, and it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Although, hated to miss the Shrine Game, but
yeah. Those things happen. What was your other choices besides Stanford? Jimmy, were you close to going to UCLA at all, and with the legendary Al Skates?
Yeah, I applied to SC and UCLA and Stanford, and I grew up a USC kid, having my dad being a Trojan, and I grew up going to all the football games, and my senior year, Larry Smith was the coach at USC, and his son Corby was a sophomore. Due to injury, he ended up our starting quarterback by the end of the season. So obviously SC was very, very close second. My sister was a freshman at Stanford, which definitely played a role. And then my dad put a round table of people together that had known me my entire life. And kind of part of the discussion was, where do you want the degree from? Because there's going to be a whole lot of life to live after you're done with sports. And obviously that happened for me much sooner than I wanted to. Yeah. But the academics were a big, big driver in going to Stanford. And Dennis Green, he came in, first year coach with us, and he came in our living room and said, listen, this program, we're going to turn it around, and you're going to have every chance to start as a freshman, as a junior or a senior. So that also appealed to me. And
it was a very unique situation that anybody was going to college to play two sports. I mean, that just wasn't something that too many people did.
Yeah, it's not done that frequently. I can think of a number of others. My brother-in-law, Adam, would play basketball and then come and play volleyball. And you mentioned the Bruins. I think one of the guys that has done it better than anybody is Danny Farmer, who was in my brother Patrick's class. I was able to win titles in volleyball at UCLA and also take football to the next level. So there's a handful of people that have done it. I think it's a fall and spring sport thing. So there's plenty of guys, I think, that have played football and baseball.
Yeah.
Just the volleyball combo with football is, I think, a California or a Hawaii, phenomenon.
It is. And speaking, so Dillon, I'm sure you're aware that over at Stanford, men's volleyball, was on the chopping block for a couple of years going down. But it looks like, the community's rallied, Jimmy, to try to bring it back. And your brother Patrick, he was on that 1997 team, I think, that won the first Stanford national title. Is that right?
That is correct. And John Costi, who's the coach, is a good friend. He was the assistant when I was there. He was the assistant when Patrick was there. It's really, really unfortunate what's happened. I have been involved with the committee of alums trying to speak to the university and raise funds. My brother-in-law Adam's been frankly more involved than I have, given his status as not only a volleyball player but an NBA player. And they're still fighting. There's been multiple millions of dollars that have been pledged. It's not over yet. That's really unfortunate. Two of Dillon's teammates are freshmen there, volleyball players. And so I'm not really sure what they're going to do. We feel badly for those kids.
Yeah, I could imagine. So Dillon, tell me a little bit. We're gonna hope for the best. We're gonna get the season going this year. What are you looking forward to? I know you probably got Maricosta checked off that on that list. Everybody gets fired up for that Loyola Maricosta game. It's such a great tradition out here. It's not unlike Roosevelt and Garfield in football or some of the other just massive games. Like that one for boys volleyball is so exciting to go to. And I would imagine that's something that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the Costa game. But more importantly, I just really want to play volleyball. I just want to get in the gym and play with my friends at Loyola and just get out there and hopefully win a national championship or CAF championship for our team last year, who in my opinion, we would have won. But I just really want to get out there and play some volleyball.
Yeah, we all want to see that. And so, I often have Eric Schonheimer from the LA Times, as well as a couple of college sports attorneys that come on, that we try to break it down and stay on top of this. And let's just hope that everybody, can bring it together and we can get this done and get you guys back out there playing, because we all enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm really, really hoping for that.
Important part of our community. Hey, I wanted to thank you too for coming on. It's great. I want you to know that, this is always available on our YouTube site, but we also syndicate now to LA 36. So a few other people will get a chance to hear and see your story. And I think that's kind of fun, because the Kleins up in Pacific Palisades is a great story.
Well, thanks for having us today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Awesome. Go Cubs, baby.
Yeah. Go Cubs.
All right. Go Cubs. Love it. How fun is that? All right. So the Kleins, I'm telling you what, that's a great story. We're not gonna jump off that one. We'll keep covering them. And maybe we can get some of his other cousins on. And hopefully, maybe I can get Bob Klein on one day and tell him how I was going to take his position over with the LA Rams. I went in another direction. All right. That was fun. That was fun.
Yeah.
Man, that's nice. That's a great family too. They're so nice. And Mike Boehle's all right. He's not bad. Okay. Hey, we got Friday coming up. Andre McCarter played for Coach Wooden on that final 1970. I want to ask Andre McCarter, what was it like after the semifinals when Coach Wooden came into the locker room? It's at the sports arena in San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. And he comes in. They won this exciting game, I think, over Kentucky. Or no, before they got to Kentucky. He comes in and he says, I really enjoy coaching this team. It's been an honor, especially since you're going to be the last team I ever coach at UCLA. And all the players went, wait, what? And that was it. And guess what? You think they were going to lose that last game? Nope. They were not going to lose that game. That's like, think the Miracle on Ice guys were going to lose in the gold? Nope, not after they beat Russia. So that it's got to be a cool moment. Andre McCarter will relive that for us. And also we got Brandon from Brandon Sports Talk. Matter of fact, Brandon is one of these guys who recognize what's going on here with Sports Stories when he asked me this important question.
What advice would you give future sports business owners that's looking to start a business or even that has a business that's looking to go into empiring?
Empiring. You heard him. Legitimate journalist asked me about empiring. Since then, LA 36. We started the Never Seen LA. Palisades Post. We're going to be in there tomorrow. I don't know. He was on to something. We'll have him on Friday night as well. All right. That was some good empire building tonight. Thank you to the Klein family. Thanks, MB. We got some Bucks Cobbler. Buck's going to kick it out, and we're out.
This American pie drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing sports stories with Denny Lennon. Sports stories with Denny Lennon.
Thanks for watching and listening. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is produced by me, Marley Rice, and Christine Jinbo.
Directed by Chris M. Alport with studio support from Alpha Command Unit and shot by bad boy Bobby McCall.
Original music courtesy of Lennon Music Production and original images courtesy of Sienna Lennon Photography. A big thank you to all of our contributors of the show. Sports Stories with Denny Lennon is a production of Sports Stories, Inc., and available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever you watch and listen. Make sure you press that subscribe button, give us a review, leave a comment. It will really help us grow the show. And you know what else will help us grow the show? Head on over to patreon.com/Denny Lennon to get some never-before-seen videos, pictures, interviews, and so much more. We are all over social media and constantly sending out clips on Facebook, conducting fun polls on Twitter, going live on Instagram, and more. To find all of our social media links,
hustle on over to sportsstoriesdl.com.
SSDL proudly supports the My Stuff Bags Foundation and the Heroes Movement. Links to how you can support and help these foundations can be found on our website. We also want to give a big thank you to all of our partners of the show. So, as Coach Lennon would say, any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email me, Marley, at info@sportsstoriespodcast.com. We want to thank all of our followers and listeners, and we will see you next time.
Kick it out, Buck!